All right, people, here we go. Starting off 2025 on the wrong foot. This time down in New Orleans. This guy rented a truck, a white truck, drives it into a crowd of people. 10 people have passed away from this. Two police officers are injured, and more are injured as well. New Orleans PD is investigating. They don't know the motive of the guy. He was firing back at police, and they were able to take him out. So he's passed away now as well. But it just seems like this just happened earlier today. The New Year's had already came in New Orleans. And then here we go with the mess already. Negative stories. People still with negative attitudes and frequencies. And it just seems like with all these years, even with all of the well wishes and peace and blessings that people start in November through December, as you go through the year, you get past Super Bowl and now it's March. And if you look at the news, you just hear more of the same crime. And so now at that point, everybody is just waiting for it to warm up and come into spring. But it's the same old stories. There's no type of camaraderie or people just really realizing that all of this needs to stop. So you're in that crowd. It's now 2025. And you're only going to spend a few hours on January 1st in that year because someone is upset about something and they decide to rent a white truck and just drive it into a crowd of people who are celebrating. I don't get it. They don't know the motive of the guy. I want you all to see a little bit of the story. Here we go.
This situation out of New Orleans where at least 10 people have been killed after somebody plowed into a crowd on Bourbon Street. For the very latest, I want to bring in NBC News correspondent Emily Aketa, who is joining us now. And Emily, you can see the emergency vehicles, the emergency response there in New Orleans as people had been celebrating New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that's right, Hallie. A massive police response to a mass casualty incident as the city is reporting just moments ago, posting a statement to its website reporting that 10 people have been killed, 30 others injured and transported by emergency services after they say a vehicle rammed into a large crowd celebrating overnight. It was near Bourbon Street and Canal Street, a hotspot, a tourist hotspot in the city of New Orleans and in the French Quarter. We are still waiting for more details on the suspected driver, the status of that individual.
Wait for the ad to finish.
But we are hoping for a news conference in the next few hours to get more information on this. But again, a massive police presence with 30 people injured, 10 people killed. It comes just weeks after we saw a car ramming attack in Germany at a Christmas market that injured more than 200 people and killed several others. Security has been a main focal point across the country, including in New Orleans, where they enlisted several hundred extra officers to patrol the New Year's Eve celebrations. Also here in New York City, where I am, where there were thousands of officers fanned out across the city to protect what was expected to be around 1 million revelers packing into Times Square to watch the ball drop. Despite the thunderstorms that had rolled through, you can hear the sirens and activity behind me as police and security remains to be ramped up. But again, we're still back to New Orleans. The new year welcomed in, marred by tragedy as we await more details on what happened. But a mass casualty incident, 30 people injured, 10 people killed after a vehicle rammed into the crowd near Bourbon Street in New Orleans, Hallie.
All right, so there you all have it. New Year, same stuff, and I just don't understand it. So we get down here, at least 10 people were killed, and more than 30 others were injured in New Orleans. Early Wednesday, man rams his pickup truck, which he rented, into a crowd while they were celebrating, and then he had a shootout with police officers. Those two police officers are alive. They're in a certain type of condition. They're at the hospital, but they are still alive. The suspect is gone. They were able to take him out, like I said, and they're treating it as an act of terrorism. And so I know a lot of people associate terrorism with somebody from out of the country coming in, causing havoc like 9/11, things like that. But I think it's just the tragedy of it. That's why they're classifying it as an act of terrorism, just because of the problems it has created. And now you have people who have to plan funerals for this month. And it's just seeing these stories do not go away. And so here's some of the people who they were talking to. This man was trying to run over as many people as he possibly could. That's what New Orleans Superintendent and Kirkpatrick said. And he created the carnage, and that he did, like she said. He drove around barricades that were erected to stop traffic because he didn't care. And this was his intent, as we can obviously see. They don't have a motive. Maybe they never will. So he had no intentions of living, the way I look at it. He knew that he was going to go out this way. That's how he wanted to start the new year. I don't know if he was very angry from 2024. Sometimes people get upset when they see other people having a good time and good things are not happening to them. So he crashes the truck on purpose. Then he gets out of the truck, starts shooting at New Orleans police. Those two, like I said, are in stable condition, and here we are. And so, I just, I don't get it in terms of you start these years off and you still have the same acts of crime, terror. I guess they don't go anywhere. They just roll over into the next year. Despite everyone saying improvement for the year and New Year's resolutions and cutting toxic people off, all of the phrases that we get in terms of hoping everybody has a new chance, a new outlook, achieve their dreams, achieve their goals. But whether that happens or not, you can say that's on the individual. But we still got other individuals out here. This is their goal. And I've never really talked about that when I talk about, and I've got past videos where I talk about, staying focused and achieving what you want. But unfortunately, we live in a world where the negative outweighs the positive. It takes 16 positives to stop a negative. And so you see that here where just one negative created all of this. Just one guy in the truck, negative. And now you see what happened to all of the positives that were there, the people that were just hanging out. And so you have people with their own individual goals and aspirations, and it's to do things like this. It's to take down a United Healthcare CEO. And then you had people actually praising the Luigi guy. And sometimes certain people want that type of praise. I don't know. We look for motives. But people get influenced by other criminal acts. Sometimes that's their motive. And they want to be remembered. And so no one will ever forget what this guy has done. And so when the goals that people set to achieve are negative, it can definitely have a countering effect on people who are trying to just do positive things in the new year, lose weight, start a business, get into that home. And so it's like you're butting heads because you're trying to do this. You don't know what these 10 people, the other 30 were injured, but we don't know what these other 10 might have had going on that now they'll never get to realize because of this guy. Yeah, 30 were injured. They're still alive. We don't know how many of them are going to survive their injuries, but we know 10 officially are now gone, and whatever they had planned for this year, now it's all down the drain. We don't know if these people were parents. I know they was obviously someone else's children. And so now you got people planning unsuspected funerals to start off the new year. And it never fails. Every January, New Year, we get new crime. So the individual goals of people who set them to do negative acts like these, they often achieve them. Even when you get people who never meet their New Year's resolutions, they give up on it. Heard Dr. Boyce Watkins saying he's on YouTube in one of his videos where he said 90% of people don't follow through on their New Year's resolution for whatever reason. But the people who want to commit crime, they want to push people into trains in New York City on the subway. That's a whole other story. They achieve their goals. They don't fail. And it's just so easy to do negative. It baffles me. And the only way to change that whole, it takes 16 positives to stop one negative. People are going to have to come together. I'm going to flip a little bit. The Pope had a mass at the Vatican on December 31st. And he's saying we have to be fraternal, meaning in camaraderie with each other. And he's saying that comes through Jesus. And those of you, whether you're religious or not, it's just the whole how Jesus carried himself in the Bible. The Pope is saying that has to happen for the world to have some type of hope. So maybe to where you don't have people wanting to rent trucks and crash them into crowds. And so he said this at the Mass. And he just said it's a sign of the times, or continuing sign of the times, with this guy who ran his truck into people. And the Pope is just saying, hey, we need to be fraternal with each other and, basically come together in order to, really stop all of these things that continue to happen in this world. And so I don't know how you all may feel about religion, the Catholic Church, all of that. Those are all other separate stories. But I just want to focus on this here. The hope of this world lies in fraternity, Pope Francis said. And okay, the city of Rome is going to be welcoming people. They have been welcoming people in recent months and all over the world, Catholics, but other people who are under that Christianity umbrella, people from every religion, just to try and hope we can get freedom, justice, peace, and truth for the people that are looking for it. Thing is, I don't know if that number of people is less than those that want to create chaos and havoc. But the Pope makes a good point there. Like, whether you're religious or not, he said, welcome in every religion. We have to seek out justice and truth and really spread the love if we're going to go to a higher frequency and stop these type of acts, or even change the mentality of people who commit these crimes. I'm not giving them any excuses, because then we'll have the people weren't loved and things of that nature, and that could have been it. People get depressed and they want to go out with a bang. And this is what they do. So President Biden chimed in on it. What they say, he's been briefed. And they say the people that were injured, there were 30 injured there at local hospitals. They don't know how many people were local to New Orleans or were visiting. It's probably a combination. But they're saying here, it seems most people live there versus those who were visiting for the holidays. Horrific act of violence. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry is saying that. But no matter what we say and we go on X or social media and just talk down about it, it continues to happen. We had stuff happening like this in 2023. And we've already got multiple crime stories in 2025. And the year is not even 24 hours old yet. So I just don't get it, and what it's going to take to stop people, especially around the holiday time, who I guess are trying to make a negative name for themselves. And then you see everyone else in the stores, everybody wishing happy holidays, Merry Christmas. It seems very positive. But for some reason, you still got others that have to do something on the back end. They have to take out that cheer. They're not happy. And just one or two people just are able to cancel out so many positive people. in groups, wherever they may be at. And it almost kind of makes these years then turn into the same year as the last, because now we'll go through February, we'll go through March, and we'll get more crime stories. And then the next one will replace the last one, and people just are numb to it because it's an everyday thing. And that's unfortunate. But maybe I'm talking about a perfect world. But we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a sick society, unfortunately, where these things continue to happen. And, my prayers go out to the 10 people who have passed away from this, the 30 who were injured, the 2 police officers who are injured. It's just a mess. And you're starting the year off just like this, the new year. Continuing negativity from 2024 and years past. And so I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's tough to swallow. I know those families that have been notified of loved ones that have now passed away. It just completely destroys their new year. No one wants to plan funerals in January. No one wants to plan funerals at all. I mean, we know we eventually have to, but not in this way, where people are being forced out of this world because someone wants to run a truck into a crowd. I don't get it. Right there on Bourbon Street. So he knew exactly where everybody was going to be gathered at, but he would be able to have the most victims, and ran the truck right into that crowd. Here's a little bit more of the footage. Right here, as you all can see, this is the damage. So I just want to show you all that picture. It's a whole mess. Then, I got this story in my email from MSN.com, and so I had to cover it. It's just kind of just goes against all of the positive messages that you try and give for people in the new year and well wishes, and then this happens. So I don't get it. It's sad. I know there's another video where the superintendent of the New Orleans Police Department was telling people to, stay away from Bourbon Street, but still continue to, to hang out and have fun. But, you can have fun at home. I don't know who's still going to do that, but it's probably best that they go back to their hotels, because this, it's a tragedy. And it makes you scared just to continue your vacation there. It's just, I don't get it. And so I'm hoping one day things will change based on the Pope's message of everybody being in the same fraternal order and wanting to come together just the way, carry yourself like Christ. People who are seeking truth and justice and equality, no matter what religion, and being divided for silly reasons. And so it's just, again, my condolences to the 10 lives that were lost and to their families. And you shouldn't have to bring in your new year that way. You don't know what these people were getting ready to do, what they had planned, and yet you have someone who wants to forget what you may have going on, or children that some of these people might have been parents. So we may have some childless parents out here right now. So, but you got people that just don't process that. They don't take any of that into consideration, and they just want to do harm. And so it kind of makes it doesn't make it hard, but all the way leading up to December, and people are talking about new goals, new strategies, ways to improve in the new year. And then before you can even start on it, then this happens. And then just the rest of the crime that's going to come in the rest of the month of January and into February. Then that whole Happy New Year thing has worn off, and it's just same New Year. Same stories. I mean, the inspirational stories are out there, but the crime stories outnumber them. And, you know, they get pushed more than the positive stories. But maybe it's because the crime stories have such of a bigger impact on the world than the positive ones. And again, that's a problem in this world too. So I'm hoping one day things will get better. That's been said time and time again, and it does not. And I'm not saying everybody go run inside your home and stay there. We can't live in fear. But everybody, you know, wants to live and trying to stay protected. But that could have been me or anybody else listening to this who were in New Orleans. And then you got hit by this truck. And it doesn't just have to be New Orleans. So I don't know. This gets 2025 off to a bad start in general. Individually, you know, people are still trying to work through it and whatever they want to achieve. But this is not setting it off good. And the only other thing, like I said, I could think of was to point to what the Pope said on December 31st about people coming together, if that's possible. I think it is, but it's going to take a lot of changing of the different governments around the world, United States government, Russian government, to really make that come together a reality. Right now, too many things are in the way for people to come together, and that may be by design. So just stay home for now, and, you know, pick your events, but throughout the rest of the year carefully. Some places it might not be worth it for you to just be out there in a big crowd. And be careful on these airplanes too. I've seen issues with airplanes where they've had some issues going down if you plan on flying this year. And come together. That's the last two words I can leave you with, is come together. That's everybody who hears this, who's in the sound of my voice on this video. Come together. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, or any of you down in New Orleans for New Year's Eve as well. Let me know what you all think. Can we really come together? What do you all, is that a reality, or am I just delusional? But hope springs eternal, I guess, right? So yeah, let me know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. The channel is Facts or Feelings. Put that in the YouTube search channel. No spaces, and my channel comes right up. And hey, it's the year. Can't say it's happy after this, but it's the year 2025. Stay safe. I'm out.